Everybody, again we welcome you. Today is D-Day, the day that we have been waiting for all this period. Perhaps I should start by recognizing our very eminent person in the name of the former president of the Republic of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. Sir, you are most welcome to be part with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a briefing from the Situation Room, from the Decision Response Team, comprising of very eminent person representing different organizations. Today, December 4th, 2021, Gambians are casting their votes for the 5th presidential election under the 1997 Constitution of the Second Republic and the first in the post-President Jammeh era. The election is being observed by West African Network for Peacebuilding in partnership with ECOWAS, UNOWAS, the Civil Society Coalition on Election, and the National Human Rights Commission. As part of the Electoral Violence Monitoring Analysis and Mitigation Initiative for monitoring, analyzing, mitigating electoral violence and contributing to a peaceful and credible election, 150 observers have been deployed to 43 prioritized risk areas across the 7 regions of the country. In addition, 26 observers were also deployed by the National Human Rights Commission to complement the election observers deployed by WANEP and CCE. These are the observations that were analyzed. The opening of polling stations. The reports that we received from the observers indicate that most polling stations were open on scheduled time of 8 a.m. this morning, and that the voting process commenced. Of the polling stations observed, 77% were open, while 23% did not as of 10 a.m. Generally, all laid out electoral procedures as outlined by law were observed. These include the presence of IEC security officials and availability of voting materials. There was a fair representation of females present at the polling station, either as IEC officials or party agents. It was also reported by the observer teams that consideration was given to persons with disabilities, pregnant and nursing mothers, and elderly persons. At the opening of polls, many of the stations recorded long queues. There were cases of no clear instructions to direct voters to their specific voting booths. There was also presence of domestic observers at all the polling stations, mainly from CSO Coalition on Elections, Gambia Participates, the National Human Rights Commission, the Peace Ambassadors, the Gambia, and international observers from ECOWAS, the AU, the Commonwealth, Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa, the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, and the Network of National Human Rights Institutions in West Africa. IEC, it was observed, made provisions for COVID-19 protocols. However, there was limited compliance from the public. Incidents. Technical and procedural incidents. These were our observations. At the Janjambure Jalangbere polling station in Jara Central constituency, there was no posting of voters list at the opening of the polls. In Jimara, Demba, Kunda, Upper River region, the marbles could not fit into the mouth of the ballot drums. The presiding officer and security agents filed the mouth of the ballot drums to enable the marbles to pass through. The observers were informed of the process, but they were not allowed to closely witness the procedure. In Banjul Central, one of the polling stations at the Makati Square, the presiding officer did not count the tokens given to her prior to opening the polls. None of the party agents, however, raised an issue. According to preliminary data received from field observers, 83% of party agents were not present at the time the polls were opened. Security incidents. This was the observation. There was security presence at most polling stations that observed. The media. There is unhindered media coverage of the voting process. What are the recommendations based on the observations so far? It is recommended that the IEC, as we know the voting is still going on until 5, IEC should strictly enforce COVID-19 safety protocols and voters are encouraged to comply. It is also recommended that the IEC should be encouraged and is encouraged to effectively direct voters to their respective polling booths at polling stations. It is also recommended to the IEC and the security agents that they should continue to be vigilant to ensure election security. The ESR will continue to monitor the voting process and provide updates in collaboration with stakeholders. We thank you all for listening. May God bless the Gambia and may justice guide our action.